Change can be very difficult for many people. Change can also be very liberating for people. I believe that change is inevitable. And if you think about the Meadowbrook School of Weston, we have always been in a program of change. I think it's important for us to understand that there is a grieving process in change. And that grieving process is really something that should be embraced. The last June was very difficult, going through the halls of the lower school and being with teachers who were touching the walls and the doors of a classroom they had been in for 10, 15, even 20 years. And you sit there and you have stories and you talk about what went on in that classroom. They know what those walls mean to them. They know the stories of every child that's gone through that classroom year after year. And yet, even in that sense of remorse, that sense of loss, comes expectation and joy and excitement about future. And that's why change is so complex. It's the future that also excites them. Part of change, if it's going to be done right, requires planning. And I think it's important for Meadowbrook to understand that this is something that I've been thinking about now for 3 or 4 years. Certainly the board and I have had very open and transparent conversations about that change. Let's think about what are our values that we want to hold on to embrace, to make sure they're steel in our backbones, so that going into the future we know who we are and where we're headed. That 3 years, I think, was an important part of preparing for change. I've been here for 31 years. The ultimate change for me is the fact that I will not be here next year. And everything that I do now, I see as the last time. Working with people that you've known for a decade or 2 decades, in some instances over 3 decades. These are incredible professionals. You love them, and then all of a sudden you go. So we started with a strategic plan, thinking in terms of the changes that are going on in education and making sure that we prepare our children for those changes. Hence, the new lower school building, the new Makers Lab, that we have total congruency from JK through 8 in our spaces. If you're preparing for change, you're looking at who you are and where you want to head and what you want to hold on to. And that begins with looking at your own mission statement. We know, love, and challenge each child. It's who we are. It also meant that we had to look at where we are as far as our diversity and our own statement of inclusion, and now we have a new one. Everything we have done is in preparation for the future, preparing our children for the future, in mission and in practice, in curriculum, and how we think about multicultural education, how we think about technology, how we teach and learn through collaboration and small group instruction. We are now prepared for the future because we prepared for change. Instead of having lectures about change or writing essays about change or a heads blog about change, why not change through music? Changes, and the times they are changing. There's one song that I really think captures the kind of change that we want to embrace. Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na-na,
sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Autumn turns to winter, and then winter turns to spring. It's not just the season, you know it goes for everything.
It's even true for voices when boys begin to grow. You gotta take a lesson from Mother Nature, and if you do, you'll know.
When it's time to change, then it's time to change. Don't fight the tide, come along for the ride, don't you see? When it's time to change, you've got to rearrange. Day by day, it's hard to see the changes you've been through. A little bit of living, a little bit of growing, all adds up to you. Every boy's a man inside.
A girl's a woman too. And if you want to reach your destiny, here's what you've got to do.
When it's time to change, then it's time to change. Don't fight the tide, come along for the ride, don't you see? When it's time to change, you've got to rearrange who you are into what you're gonna be. When it's time to change, you've got to rearrange who you are into what you're gonna be.
Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na-na.